All right, have and have not fans, I don't know about you, but tomorrow night looks like it's going to be one hell of an episode. We have a lot of things to look forward to based off the preview for this week's episode of the haves and the have-nots. And with that being said, I want to do a quick predictions video about what I think is going to happen in tomorrow night's episode. So I'm just going off the previews here as well as a few hunches that if I were to pick one thing that I'm most looking forward to in tomorrow night's episode, it's going to be the fact that Katherine and Hannah are finally going to confront the elephant in the room about Wyatt being the one to hit Benny in the hit and run charges. Now, based off of season 2, when Benny was in the hospital, I believe it was this section where Katherine finally figured out where Hannah was because she wasn't coming to work. She realized that they were in a pretty crappy, I believe was the county hospital, and she knew that if Benny stayed there, he had no chance of surviving. Now, when Katherine kept insisting that she moved him to a better hospital, I believe it's Mercy Hospital, the same one that Katherine went to back during season 1 where she had the breast cancer surgery that apparently has went unmentioned since season 1. Just going to leave that there. Well, anyway, Hannah was persistent in saying, "Why did you come here, Katherine? Was Wyatt the one to hit my son?" Katherine kept saying that she was only here to help. So Katherine has never fully outright admitted that Wyatt was the one to hit Benny, because in season 2, remember that I believe Hannah, after she heard Wyatt at the end of season 1 saying that he hit somebody and he thought that he killed him, that's where Hannah got her information from, saying that Wyatt was the one to hit Benny. Later on, Donald was the one to take the fall, which Jim set him up for, that he was the one to be hit by Benny. Excuse me, sorry about that. Wyatt was the one to hit Donald. Donald didn't press charges. Then later on, Norman Humans was the one to take the fall for Wyatt. So Hannah was left in the dark up until the point a couple episodes ago where Wyatt pretty much told Hannah to her face that he was the one to hit Benny. Now she wants Katherine to outright admit it. So I feel like that's going to be the most powerful moment of the episode. I'm really looking forward to that. Will Katherine finally admit to it? Or will, again, she just not brush it off, but she's more concerned at the moment about what's going on with Jim and everything else surrounding the halves. And she really needs Hannah's support because, Hannah is kind of like what Peter was to Jesus, the rock, the foundation, the spiritual rock that Katherine needed during her time of cancer. So again, I really look forward to that particular part of the episode and the dynamic between the two, because again, Katherine's desperate for help. Hannah's just desperate for justice and her check. All right. So if I were to make a prediction surrounding Veronica, I think the episode is going to kick off with David rushing to the jail. He's going to call Jennifer saying, "Don't let Veronica go home," because he knows that Jim has somebody set there to kill her. And it only makes sense that he's going to the jail because since he doesn't know where Veronica lives, he's not going to know where to go to try to cut her off. Unless two things happen. Number one, Maggie caves in and gives him a call saying, "Hey, Landon told me that Veronica was let out of jail and is heading home. You rushed out to go after her. You need to know the address." Maggie might give him the address because, again, she doesn't know that a killer's there. Number two, Oscar gives David a call saying, "Hey, David, me and my organization were able to find out the address for Veronica. Here's the place you need to go to." But I'm pretty sure at least I would hope David, in his fit of emotion after fighting with Benny, isn't too strung up in rushing in there to save her, because he might think that Veronica has already went inside and gotten shot. But he, if he did that, he goes in the house, he's probably going to be the first one shot, because I'm pretty sure the guy there that Jim set up is going to shoot first, ask questions later as to who's going to walk through that door first, since he's under the impression that Veronica will be the first one to do so. But, you would think that, hey, if David doesn't see a vehicle outside, he knows not to go inside, right? But since they were arrested at the campaign office, Veronica most likely would get like a cab or taxi service, but that's kind of stretching the point. But I think that David would go to the jail first. He's going to give Jennifer a call. She's going to say, "Hey, it's too late. Veronica signed out and she left." That leads to a next portion of the episode where Veronica is going to meet up with Quita. And as I said in my last video about the review of last week's episode, I'm really liking the new interaction between two characters from different sides of the track where you have have-nots and haves interacting, especially the fact that Veronica released Quincy from jail, but also helped Quincy's brother get off some drug charges a few years ago. Then he got shot. So finally having Quita and Veronica face to face, I'm really interested in that dynamic right there. So and if I were to assume a time frame, I would say David rushing to the jail, Veronica's released from her cell, Veronica's checking out, she has an exchange with Jennifer. I think the Quita portion would happen right before she goes to sign out, because if I'm not mistaken, we see Veronica waiting out in the hallway on one side of the wall. Then on the next side, we see a row of new inmates. And we know that Quita and her friend are most likely going to be arrested by Justin for breaking into Candace's house looking for Quincy, but they do find the phone. That leads to the confrontation between Jeffrey and Justin. I would think that Jeffrey and Justin's fight, confrontation, and then the gun pointing at Jeffrey's head, I think that's going to be the cliffhanger ending of tomorrow night's episode. Or the part where Landon and Candace are at the Sarandon Hotel. We know they're going to be in the bar talking. Then they go up to Landon's room because, again, Candace obviously can't afford to have a room there right now. That's when she asks him, hey, are you too tired for a man? And he opens the door. And then there's a guy with dreads. And then based off the preview, see there's another big guy who's bald. And I think Erica's there too. And we see one clip or one scene during the preview where Candace is kind of looking down. If I were to guess, they beat up Landon for information. Not sure whether or not they get anything off of him. Because, again, he is a public relations expert. He was the one to pull the information on Oscar. He was the one to get the phone to Candace to look at Oscar's information to see if it was, hey, this guy's rich. I don't really know whether or not Landon knows anything. We know that Aaliyah got paid by Oscar. Again, I thought she had nothing to do with it. But she got $25,000 to say that, hey, she needs to have X amount of money to show the judge in order to get custody of little Q. Now, Landon, we know that he kept pouting that, hey, he kept noticing that attractive looking guy at the bar, Oscar, but he knew that he wasn't gay. The dynamic between that scene and what happens later is that every time Candace and Landon are talking, Oscar will come up and say, hey, do you mind if I steal your friend away? Or, hey, I have some money. She's mine for the night. That little exchange right there, that could be something that they set up to make it look more convincing. So if Landon wasn't involved with Oscar, I wouldn't be surprised. If Landon was somehow involved with Oscar, if he was paid off, I wouldn't be surprised. So either way, I wouldn't be surprised because there's enough evidence there for Landon to not be involved with Oscar but getting beaten up anyway by Candace, or for Landon to be working with Oscar and then get beaten up as a result. So I'm just excited to see where it's going to go. And then another thing I would like to talk about in the next episode, I hope they have a scene of Jim in the jail, because again, him mouthing off resulting in him being in there for 30 more days. So I wonder the dynamic on that. If John Snyder's character will be able to handle it, because I see that based off his Facebook and Twitter. John Snyder's been doing a lot of different movie projects at his studio and going to different events, meeting fans. So it makes sense that he will be in jail for a little while longer to, have time to work on his out of the have and have nots persona. That's pretty cool how they write that into the story somehow. I'm trying to think there's anything else that I'm missing, but I'm just excited about tomorrow night's episode because there's so much to happen. And again, it goes back to my last video where I said I'm glad that the story's finally picking up. I'm only sad that before you know it, it's going to be the mid-season finale. So I'm most likely just going to bring this video to a close right now because we're going on almost 10 minutes. So what do you think is going to happen in tomorrow night's episode? Do you think that Jeffrey's going to get shot? Doubtful, but I do want to see the confrontation between him and Justin because of what happened when he actually arrested him. That was really wrong. Well, do you think that Veronica will help out Quita? Will David go to the jail or Veronica's house? And what's going to happen between Landon when he gets confronted by Candace? And mostly, I would say most importantly, when Katherine and Hannah meet face to face, will Katherine tell the truth? So again, leave your predictions in the comment section below. Subscribe for my channel to receive new new updates on any new videos, as well as my Twitter and Facebook as well. That's always going to be in the description below. And please comment, because again, I do read your comments and they really do mean a lot. So I want to bring this video to a close right now, and I will see you all tomorrow when we watch the haves and the have-nots. I'll be live tweeting.